We are in the first week of October, and in this first week I have been moved by something I have experienced that I would love to be able to share with our viewers. It is a movie that hits on a lot of the points that we have tried to do on this program. The movie is by a gentleman, director by the name of Davis Guggenheim. Davis Guggenheim. Remember that name. The name of the movie is called Waiting for Superman. This movie is such an entailed and detailed account on the state of affairs in our public educational system. Who, when, why, and how. This movie, it really can be considered as a documentary, but what I have grown to learn is that it asks a lot of very, very poignant and very hard questions, and it places the blame solely on the teachers and the system which they work for. The first part of the movie goes through and explains how, through our miseducation of our children, the future of our whole country is at stake because our children are failed to be taught by the system. The system, by the way, that we pay for. And it also shows how the system needs to be changed and reformed from head to toe. Because where there isn't corruptness, there is situation where they haven't modernized the way that they're teaching our children. So our children are being babysitted as opposed to being taught. This movie is very intense. This movie is very detailed. This movie is very, very, in my opinion, very accurate. It places the blame on our government through legislation who is miseducating our children. Going on down the line, there is the power of the school board unions and all of their efforts and all of their energies is geared toward just giving their employees raises. And none of it is geared toward placing our children in the proper or in the best schools. And every child wants to learn. That's one thing you can learn just by talking to children. But now when you place a child who wants to learn in a school system who is unable to teach them because of bureaucracy, because of red tape, because of bad schooling, because of zoning areas, then you have a volatile situation, which is what we're dealing with now. To whereas the young boys, there's no such thing as young boys anymore. And young girls are developing faster than Photomat. And we need to keep an eye on what our children are eating, on what they're being taught, on what they're being fed, on what they're learning, and where they're getting this information from. It is so important, and I advise everyone, the first chance you get, to take a look at this movie. It touched my soul because it hit on a lot of points that I've been trying to convey in this program, and there's so many others before me know about. A lot of the politicians talk about how bad the school is, but they want you to vote for them, yet they send their children to private schools. And we need to understand that that says something about what they think about the school system. The school system is totally corrupt. The school board is totally dysfunctional and corrupt. And we need to grasp hold of what's left of our future so that we can have a better future for our children and a better education for our young people. This week in Chicago, we had a situation to where an 80-year-old senior citizen shot a young man who was taunting her. I believe the young man was 14 years old. And I rooted for the senior citizen because luckily it wasn't a fatal shooting. The young boy got a shot in his arm. But I root for the senior citizens who take care of them. I root for all of us. I think we all need to be able to take care of ourselves. But the sad part about it is that we're defending ourselves against our own children. These children should have discipline. They don't. These children should have respect. They don't. These children should have an understanding and an acknowledgement of when grown-ups are around them. They don't. Now, the school board and anyone that works for the school board will gladly tell you that everything is fine, that the crisis that everyone is talking about don't exist, that every school child is taught according to individuality. So instead of them having one-on-one confrontations or one-on-one experiences with the student, they crowd and overload the classrooms, and then they cut the budgets to whereas one teacher has to teach 5 or 6 different subjects just to make ends meet. Do you realize how much we pay teachers? And it's really one of the most important jobs on the face of the earth, next to parenting, which leads me to my point. This movie, it points out so many problems, and it says in and of itself that it's not giving the answer. But I think it gives the answers, it just doesn't address them. The answer is what we've said on this program many times. It is parenting. We are allowing the schools to raise our children when they are not capable to do so. And they encourage our children and the parents to become friends. I see it all of the time. There is no respect in conversation. There is no respect in advice giving. There is no respect in nurturing. There is no respect coming from our youth. Our youth tend to think that they know more than the people who went before them. And once again, our government and our school system will gladly tell you that everything is fine. But I say this unto the school board and our government. If you think everything is fine with our school children, it's only because you're not talking to them. You're not communicating with them. Well, I do. And to that end, I say you can just call me Novocaine because I am not feeling you. Everything that they put on television, take it with a grain of salt. Everything that your children bring home is outdated and out of focus, and they're not teaching them how to focus on it. We need to understand that our system needs revamping. Our system needs overhauling. Our system needs to be torn down and built back up. But what good would that do if not for parenting? Parenting is the basis of education. Parenting is the basis of all life. Don't send your children to school if you first haven't taught them something. No point. Don't send your children to school if there isn't a little thing that's already embedded in their mind called home training. Home training. Now, when the training doesn't come from home and it comes from the school or the streets, then we have those children that are taunting that 80-year-old senior. Those are the type of children that we walk amongst every day that will soon hit you in your head for a penny. We need to understand that our children are out of control, but it is us that allow them to get that way. Yes, I'm putting the blame on every parent, not on the school system. Even though the government has a part in it and they're making money from it, they're not to blame. We have control of our children. We live in a state where the children or the parents are afraid to call or discipline their children because they are afraid that the children will call the authorities on them. We need to understand that the only authority in parenting is the parent. And no government should be allowed to tell us how to raise and discipline our children. Our children are our responsibility. Our children are our gift given to us by God. And in order to make God happy, in order to make God pleased with giving us that blessing, we need to be more focused on parenting. We need to be more focused on teaching the right values, discipline, and upright, God-fearing love. That's what's missing in the world today. That's what's missing in our children. They're so confused by our miseducation of our school system that their entire life winds up to nothing more than just a booty call. That's all they think about all day long. Making money and spending it on frivolous, meaningless things. So let us grasp, and I encourage everyone to go see that movie, Waiting for Superman. The title of this program is We Are the Superman. The parenting. The parenting of this country must retake our youth. We thank you for tuning in this week. We thank you for listening this week. See the movie. See the movie. See the movie. You are Superman. God bless.